The theme of this video is the aging process and how to cope with it, which is relevant to everyone regardless of age or gender. My inspiration for this topic came from watching the Hollywood movie The Substance, which dealt with themes of addiction and self-confidence in the face of aging. Now, let's take a brief look at the plot of The Substance. Don't worry, I won't be giving away any spoilers. The movie's lead character is played by Demi Moore, who takes on the role of Elizabeth Sparkle, a well-known actress turned aerobic show host. On the day Elizabeth turned 50, her TV station decided to terminate her from her show because the CEO felt she was no longer young and attractive. Receiving this news, Elizabeth became distressed and got into a minor traffic accident on her way home. As she tries to cope with the sudden and unexpected loss of her career, Elizabeth begins to question her self-worth, leading her to make a series of dangerous decisions. After going to the emergency room to treat her injuries, a young male nurse carefully examined her spine and discreetly slipped her a note and a USB drive. The USB drive turned out to be a promotion for a mysterious serum, claiming to transform the user into a younger, more beautiful version of themselves. After a period of deliberation, Elizabeth decided to order the mysterious serum. When she received the package containing the entire treatment, she found that it included a single-use vial of the serum, which she injected into her body. As promised, an upgraded version of herself emerged, with a symbiotic relationship to the serum. The terms of this relationship stated that the two selves would exist symbiotically. If either one disappeared, so too would the other. While they shared a common subconscious, their conscious minds were distinct. To maintain the balance of this arrangement, the two selves had to live separate lives, alternately taking control for 7-day intervals. Put simply, the two selves could never be awake and aware of each other at the same time. To maintain the stability of this new arrangement, the upgraded version of Elizabeth had to extract a dose of stabilizer from her original self's spine every 7 days, then inject it into her own body to preserve her youthful appearance. This cycle had to be repeated without fail to ensure the symbiotic relationship continued. However, the upgraded version of Elizabeth, named Sue, became greedy and ceased following the guidelines of the arrangement. She began to live her own life, extracting stabilizer from Elizabeth's spine. As a result, Elizabeth's body rapidly aged, her appearance and functions deteriorating. When Elizabeth discovered Sue's betrayal, she resolved to confront the person who had provided the serum and end the process. When Elizabeth finally received the termination injection, she made the difficult decision to inject it into Sue's body, but in the final moments before the injection was complete, Elizabeth had a change of heart. She couldn't bear to lose the upgraded version of herself, but it was too late. Sue suddenly awoke, finding herself face to face with Elizabeth for the first time. When Sue realized what Elizabeth had intended, her fury exploded. Furious that Elizabeth had tried to destroy her, she struck out in a rage, beating her to death and ending the symbiotic relationship. In a cruel irony, the very thing that had given her life had also caused her demise. Now that Elizabeth was dead, Sue was unable to extract the stabilizer from her body, causing her own body to begin decaying. In a desperate bid to save herself, Sue retrieved the leftover trace of magical serum that Elizabeth had used and injected it into her own body. She hoped this would result in another upgraded version of herself. Sadly, the dose was too small, and instead of a new Sue, a grotesque monstrosity emerged, an unholy fusion of Elizabeth and Sue. While I'll leave the conclusion of the film for you to discover on your own, I hope that this summary of the story has been both engaging and enlightening. While the story is not scientifically accurate, it does raise an important and thought-provoking message: how to cope with the aging process. In the movie, Elizabeth, distraught over her boss's criticism of her age, injects herself with an unknown serum, hoping it will transform her into a younger and more beautiful version of herself without considering the consequences of her actions. In fact, one of the scenes in the movie suggests that Elizabeth is still a beautiful woman by her peers' standards, despite being 50 years old. This moment in the story illustrates how a lack of self-confidence can lead people to make drastic decisions, even at great cost. Elizabeth's desire to defy the natural aging process, despite the potential consequences, is ultimately more destructive than accepting and embracing the process. So, why is it so difficult for many people to accept the aging process? Is it because we have trouble accepting ourselves, or is it because we can't bear the way others perceive us? According to medical research, Our bodies typically peak in appearance and physical condition around the age of 25. As time passes, our skin and bodily functions begin to decline, and gravity takes its toll on our skin, causing it to sag as it loses its elasticity and firmness. So, what exactly is facial aging? According to the research I've read, facial aging is a result of changes to the bones, muscles, and skin of the face. As we age, our bones begin to lose density and become less defined, resulting in less prominent cheekbones, jawlines, and nasal bones, which can cause a sagging effect in the face. As we age, our facial muscles gradually lose their elasticity and firmness. The fat in our faces also begins to shrink, contributing to the visible signs of aging. When the facial muscles and fat begin to diminish, the skin on our faces loses its support structure. Without this support, the skin begins to sag and wrinkles start to appear. Most of us understand that aging is a natural process that happens to everyone, and many of us accept this fact. However, when it comes to dealing with aging, there are different attitudes people take. Here are 5 common approaches. Attitude 1, the layback style, accepting whatever comes. Attitude 2, the passive-aggressive approach. People with this attitude generally don't actively pursue anti-aging methods. However, when they learn about safe and effective ways to slow the aging process, they may consider trying them after doing their own research. Attitude 3, aggressive passive style. People with this approach may spend significant amounts of money on high-end skincare products, facial treatments, and spa services, largely for peace of mind. Attitude 4, aggressive. This approach involves undergoing invasive cosmetic procedures, such as fillers, facelifts, and breast augmentation, in order to achieve rapid and visible results. Attitude 5, addiction. For those with this attitude, cosmetic surgery becomes an obsession. They may feel driven to constantly undergo procedures in pursuit of an unattainable ideal, a condition known as body dysmorphic disorder, BDD. Unfortunately, cases of BDD can lead to tragic outcomes in some individuals who seek to transform themselves through cosmetic surgery. Tragically, there have been cases of individuals with body dysmorphic disorder, such as Hollywood celebrities Madonna and Michael Jackson, who have undergone repeated plastic surgery procedures in pursuit of an unrealistic ideal of beauty. These examples serve as a cautionary tale about the potentially devastating consequences of cosmetic surgery addiction, where individuals undergo numerous surgeries in an attempt to correct perceived flaws that may not even exist. It's heartbreaking to think about the extent to which these individuals may have struggled with their body image and potential physical and psychological consequences of repeated cosmetic procedures. Before they reached a certain age, usually after 40, these celebrities were stunningly beautiful. However, as they grew older, they may have begun to lose confidence in their appearance. Perhaps they feared the judgment of others or that they would fade into obscurity, believing that regaining their youthful appearance was the only way to maintain their fame and fortune. These celebrities resorted to repeated injections and surgeries, regardless of the costs and risks involved. They subjected themselves to an ongoing cycle of physical pain and emotional distress, all in pursuit of an unattainable standard of beauty. In some cases, individuals with plastic surgery addiction have been known to ignore the advice of their doctors and undergo procedures that are not medically necessary. Desperate to maintain their youth, they may resort to using unlicensed plastic surgeons or even attempt DIY injections at home. While these extreme examples are disheartening, it's important to remember that the vast majority of people with BDD can be helped with therapy and support. In many cases, individuals with BDD may start out with the aggressive passive attitude, hoping that expensive skincare products and treatments will help them maintain their youth. However, when they don't see the drastic results they desire, they become frustrated and may turn to more drastic measures, such as cosmetic surgery, in the hopes of achieving a more dramatic transformation. This often marks the transition from the aggressive passive attitude to the aggressive attitude. Often, people who initially adopt the aggressive attitude gradually descend into the addiction attitude without even realizing it. They may become so focused on achieving a certain appearance that they fail to recognize the negative effects that their obsession is having on their physical and emotional well-being. For performing artists whose appearance is integral to their livelihood, the pressure to maintain a youthful appearance can be especially intense. However, the desire to achieve a certain aesthetic is not limited to the entertainment industry. Increasingly, people from all walks of life, men and women alike, are turning to facial injections and other cosmetic procedures as a means to delay the signs of aging. Influenced by celebrity culture and media portrayals of idealized beauty, even some young people in their teens and 20s are beginning to turn to facial injections as a way to enhance their features. While these procedures may seem harmless, it's important to consider the long-term implications and psychological effects of pursuing such drastic measures at a young age. For those who choose to undergo facial injections, it's important to understand that the effects are not permanent. Most injections typically last between 4 to 6 months, after which the effects will gradually begin to fade. This means that in order to maintain the desired look, continued injections are necessary. It's crucial for people considering these procedures to be aware of this fact, as the need for ongoing injections can be costly and may lead to addiction-like behavior. When a person stops getting injections, their skin and muscles may become even more relaxed than before due to the effects of aging and gravity. Over time, the body's natural aging process will continue, and the amount and frequency of injections required to maintain a youthful appearance will increase. Eventually, a person's facial expressions may become less representative of their actual emotional state, resulting in a strange, unnatural look. You may have heard that facial injections eventually disappear over time, either by being absorbed by the body or wearing off on their own. However, a plastic surgeon conducted an MRI on a person who had been receiving regular injections for a long period of time. The MRI revealed that most of the injections had migrated to other parts of the face, leading to a widening and puffiness of the face. This phenomenon can often be seen in celebrities who have undergone a number of cosmetic procedures over the years. Given their wealth, fame, and beauty, why would successful celebrities choose to undergo such drastic cosmetic procedures? Based on my observations, a person's decision to undergo cosmetic procedures is often influenced by their level of self-confidence and knowledge about the long-term effects of these procedures. Celebrities may feel pressure to maintain a certain image, and without proper education, they may not be aware of the potential risks and consequences of undergoing these procedures. Indeed, self-confidence is influenced by a variety of factors. Among these factors, the conscious and subconscious mind are key players in decision-making. In modern society, we are constantly bombarded with advertising messages from various media sources, whether it's billboards, television, or our own personal electronic devices. These messages shape our perceptions of beauty, success, and self-worth, often without our awareness. Even if you don't actively pay attention to these messages, advertising has a powerful effect on our conscious and subconscious minds. Over time, we absorb these messages and internalize them, leading to certain beliefs and expectations about ourselves and others. Take, for example, the widespread advertising of slimming products. These ads create a false perception that any amount of fat on the body is undesirable and that people who are overweight are somehow flawed or inferior. These messages can have a devastating impact on people's self-esteem and body image. If we internalize these messages from advertising, we can become trapped in a vicious cycle of self-doubt and negative body image. For example, in pursuit of the thin beauty ideal portrayed in advertising, people may restrict their eating and become obsessive about their weight, often to the detriment of their physical and mental health. In the world of beauty products and treatments, advertisers often use flashy, exaggerated claims and deceptive tactics to sell their products. To create the illusion of flawless, youthful skin, advertisers often feature young models and use image editing software to remove any visible signs of imperfection. This creates an unrealistic and unattainable standard of beauty, which can cause people to feel inadequate or even ashamed of their natural appearance. In reality, the smooth, wrinkle-free skin portrayed in these ads is impossible to achieve for most adults, as it is a hallmark of prepubescent skin. Advertisers often use the phrase permanent hair removal to imply that a product or service will completely and forever eliminate unwanted hair. But what does permanent actually mean in this context? In most cases, it's a vague and misleading term that is open to interpretation. For example, does permanent mean that the hair will never grow back? Or does it mean that the service provider will offer free touch-up sessions to maintain the hair removal results? If you've had a beauty treatment or purchased a beauty product that didn't live up to its hype, you may have tried to speak with the service provider about your dissatisfaction. However, it's likely that you were met with resistance or blame shifting. It's not uncommon for service providers to blame the customer for not following the treatment plan correctly or to push them to purchase additional products or services. Filing a complaint with a consumer protection agency may seem like a viable option, but the reality is that these agencies often lack the resources and power to effectively help consumers. For your information, the Hong Kong Consumer Council received a total of almost 32,000 complaints in 2022, but only 35 of those cases were resolved with the help of the Council's litigation fund. As for the number of complaints that were resolved without litigation, that information is not publicly available. In other words, the Consumer Council was only able to effectively help 0.1% of the cases it received in 2022, which illustrates the limitations of relying on consumer protection agencies for redress. Let's take a closer look at the efficacy of skincare products and treatments. If these products and procedures were truly as effective as the claims made by marketers, why would so many people resort to invasive procedures like plastic surgery or injections? While some people may genuinely enjoy the process of getting cosmetic treatments, most people would prefer to achieve the desired results without going under the knife or the needle. Indeed, the effects of skin lifting surgery are not permanent. Patients will need to undergo the procedure again every 10 years or so to maintain their results, and even for people who are willing to undergo skin lifting surgery, there are some areas of the body that are not suitable for this procedure due to their complex anatomy and function. For example, the skin around finger joints, knees, and elbows plays a crucial role in the bending and movement of these body parts, and lifting the skin in these areas could potentially cause discomfort or functional impairment. Many people find it difficult to accept the natural aging process and will try various means to avoid or reverse the inevitable. Even a close friend of mine was not immune to this tendency. Let's share her personal experience as we conclude this topic. She began her journey into skincare at the age of 11, becoming aware of the importance of taking care of her skin early on. At 20, when she moved to a dry region, she noticed a fine line at the corner of her mouth. She immediately invested in a brand name facial cream for mature skin, even though the line was barely noticeable. In hindsight, she realized her expectations were unrealistic. Despite her young age and the quality skincare products the fine line remained, this was a valuable lesson, teaching her that wrinkles are a natural part of aging and cannot be eliminated entirely, regardless of age or diligence in skincare. This is a poignant example of how expectations can be distorted by societal pressures and the impact this can have on people's mental and emotional well-being. When she returned to the cosmetic counter, the beauty consultant suggested that she hadn't used the cream for long enough and warned her that if she didn't start early, aging would catch up with her. Taking the advice to heart, she continued to use the brand's products for a decade, investing heavily in her skincare routine. It's so easy for a well-meaning beauty consultant to reinforce these societal pressures, leading people down a potentially costly and futile path of excessive skincare. After years of loyalty, she tried the brand's eye cream, notoriously costly for its small size. Despite following instructions carefully, within a week she noticed oil deposits forming around her eyes. This was deeply disheartening considering her investment in the brand's products. It's disheartening to think that even after years of loyalty, this person still did not receive the results she was expecting, highlighting the risk of over-reliance on expensive products. After the eye cream experience, she started doing her own research and listening to dermatologists' advice. She learned that proper skincare is about basic principles like keeping skin clean and hydrated, eating a healthy diet, avoiding smoking, and protecting skin from the sun. Most skincare products provide only temporary moisturization and can even cause irritation or breakouts if they disrupt the skin's natural balance. This is a significant shift from her previous mindset, recognizing that less is often more when it comes to skincare. Today, she's simplified her skincare routine to basic steps: daily cleansing, moisturizing with natural oils and Vaseline jelly, and maintaining clean makeup brushes. She's accepted that gravity and aging are unavoidable and has chosen to adapt to these changes, focusing on maintaining her skin's health rather than chasing an unrealistic standard of beauty. This shift in mindset can be empowering, allowing her to focus on what truly matters in skincare and embrace her unique beauty. It's important to approach information about beauty and aging with a critical eye, grounded in science and self-acceptance. Everyone possesses unique beauty at every stage of life, and it's important to appreciate and embrace ourselves as we are. I hope this video has provided you with some insight and encouraged you to make safe and happy decisions for your own skincare. True beauty comes mainly from within. Confidence. Thank you to those artists who inspire us by being role models of this inner beauty. The content of this video is solely my personal opinion. It is not intended to praise or criticize any product, service, or individual mentioned in the video. Any information provided is for reference only and should not be considered as professional advice. Please consult with a qualified professional for individualized advice. Please subscribe to my channel for more information and discussion. Thank you for watching and for joining the conversation.